Oh, good morning, gentle thems, whoever you are. I don't know how it happened, but I took the liberty. Oof, I took the liberty of sleeping extra. I calculated I fell asleep at like 12:30. Right now it's like 3:30. It's right now it's 12:30. So like 9 hours. That's crazy. But I needed it because I'm still sore. Like I really pushed myself a little bit extra. But that's fine. I don't have very much time to do anything. Today's a work day. Yeah. So like this is my preferred breakfast. Big ups to Gorilla Mode protein. It's always delectable. But yeah, a little protein shake just to scoop and an unripe banana. Um, I don't know why, but I prefer the unripe banana. It just like feels better than a ripe banana. That's just me. I recommend the milk frother because I can never like shake it enough to get it fully mixed. But once you get like a milk frother and you like stick it in a little bit, see for like 20 seconds, and yeah, it gets fully mixed well. Technology.
Oh, okay. In classic ADHD fashion, um, I literally have less than an hour to get all my stuff ready for work before I have to like start driving off. So, yeah, that's great, right? There's the reason why I have everything pre-cut and everything. That was the whole point of that. So that on my silly goose ass procrastinates, it's there. This is done in 30 minutes, so it's able to get done. I can just take it, right? But anyways, there is something I wanted to share, and I have my notes here for it. Ah, and I think I titled this video that paying bills is a luxury. Uh, I was debating on titling it like the concept of money, but no, paying bills as a luxury was like the idea that kind of floated to the surface when I heard this like interesting perspective on finances and like emotions in regards to finances and all that. And I'm just gonna like spitball my notes and maybe y'all take some nuggets out of it. Okay, so yeah. While I'm cooking chicken, while I'm preparing my little yogurt mixture, while I'm saying my life alright, while I'm making coffee, oh my gosh, it's crazy. Let's see. So the first thing is, okay, on a definition of what like money is, right? Currency, stuff like that. Again, I'm no economist. I never went to college, right? And I do not I like I mentioned before, I'm in debt. So, you know, what the hell do I know about money, right? I can't manage any of that. At least as the record has shown. But, I'm trying to learn. And so one thing I recently heard about as a definition of money is that here's what I wrote that every dollar that is gained, say from like your job or something, every amount of money that is like exchanged between people is a placeholder for value. It is like when you give someone money and when someone gives money to you, that is an exchange of value, right? This is an IOU basically. Usually, especially in regards to your job, right? I don't know about y'all, right? But sometimes when I talk to people about their jobs and whatnot, the common way to talk about it is uh, how I personally view it is through the lens of the victim, through the lens of like wage slavery. That's like the title, right? Some of the quotes I can hear is like, I hate that I only can give my time for money just to survive, right? That's like the whole idea of wage slaving, right? I'm only doing this because I can survive, right? It's very much like it's not it's not like this matter of exchanging value. you know, doing things for your own survival, and you have to like go up to this big man and, you know, ask for a pittance. It's that's like the mindset I see of lunch. That's the mindset I used to hold, right? Another quote is like, I have to work just to survive. I clock in, I clock out, just to repeat the cycle. And yeah, I don't know about y'all, but this sounds miserable. Okay, this is a very miserable way to live. And you know, I used to live this way, and I get it, right? You know, work can be hard. Your feet get sore, right? You know, you get sleepy. I used to work overnight shift from like 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Not 6 p.m. No, that'd be crazy. 10 a.m. to 6 a.m. At overnight as like an IHOP line cook, and that stuff on the weekends, by the way. So that, you know, was mind numbing. It was annoying. It was loud. And I worked through holidays too. All right. Trust me, I hated that. That was not a pleasant experience to say the least, right? The perspective I heard said this, right? That if you take away like your emotions out of it, what ends up happening when you work for a job is you know, let's say you're gonna get like hired for a job, right? What you're doing is when you sign up and say, hey, I would like this job, please, as, you know, flipping burgers at a McDonald's, right? You know, for one, you are asking for that job, right? Because that's something that's within your capabilities, correct? Cool. You know, McDonald's needs people to flip their burgers, right? So now we have to determine, okay, you're gonna flip burgers for how long? Okay, around 40 hours full time. Typical, cool. What is the value that you generate for us for flipping burgers, right? And maybe you're the best burger flipper in the world, but here's the thing. Not every burger flipper was born equal, right? So what ends up being your wage for that job is an average. What you earn is what the average value that each burger flipper generates. You might be an exceptional burger flipper, you know, not knocking it. I was an exceptional line cook. I actually liked the work of line cooking, but I got paid like 10 an hour in Arkansas, and it's like, you know, there were better things out there. Eventually I changed to something that was like more 16 an hour. Now my current job is like 25 an hour, so, you know, I'm generating more value for a bigger company, right? On all that, right? As I like observe my life, this is starting to make more sense. I'd love to like talk about where I work and all that, but that's like doxing myself. I'm not gonna do that. Not yet, you know, not right now. But yeah, taking your emotions out of it, realize that when you go to a job, you are exchanging, you know, yourself for their job and your time, right? And so then you make money per week or per every other week. The thing is, you don't get paid right away. They don't give you the money, then you work, right? What ends up happening is you do the work up front for 40 to 80 hours, right? Either a week or 2 weeks. And then later, on payday, you get a check. That check is the debt that company owes you, right? So here's the thing. You gave your valuable time to this company, and now the company is in your debt. Okay? So in a sense, now y'all are on equal footing, right? Because if you exchange your time for a company, they are legally required to give you money. So that, I don't know about y'all, but the way I see it, that kind of like, instead of this being this big company, it sort of like kind of levels the playing field. It's like, okay, y'all, I did this work for you. Where the fuck is, like, it's like, hey, fool, where's my money? Where's my money, right? We agreed on a certain amount of money, right? That's how it is, right? Especially with like workers' rights and all that. Okay, so And I'm all for like labor rights, by the way. I love that shit. Not to get political in here, but yeah. Okay. But yeah, when you go to a job, that's what happens, right? So to view it as like the big man oppressing you and all that, it's a perspective, it's a valid one, it's a necessary one, I would say. But if you're like in a mode where you're feeling stuck, kind of remove yourself from that bit and realize it's more just like transactional. Okay. The thing is, all right. Here's what I'd say. I'm a very like, at least now, gratitude pill. Okay. I love taking this green pill, where everything is just a blessing, and things are great, even if they're not so great. But like, there's always some silver lining to go about it, right? Here's like the reality check. I realize this ties into like the title of the video, right? Paying bills is a luxury, okay? And it goes simply like this stovetop that I'm using to cook the vegetables that I got from the grocery store, the faucet that I'm going to use to wash, right, my kitchen appliances. Like I genuinely feel like a lot of us, especially in the first world, take every single little thing here for granted. This is like my air fryer, right? The stove, these like well manufactured kitchen tools, that protein powder, the faucet, the running water. Hold on, I need to like push you on something, right? I'm gonna tell you like how my parents grew up. This is how they said that they grew up, right? Maybe they're bullshitting me, maybe not, But I have no reason to believe that my precious mother would lie to me about like her childhood circumstances. So when they were kids, at least my mom, I don't know about my dad, right? I think that was a little bit different. But my mom, when she was growing up, in order to just get water to like cook with, much less like shower or things of that sort, what she would have to do, her mother, my grandma, would have to like yell at her, because there's a lot of yelling in that family. There's like, they're Mexicans, it happens. And it's like, yeah. And then like, she would tell her like, get the bucket and go to the well. So she would walk, young little girl would walk with the bucket over to who knows how far that well was, and then fill the bucket, and for a little bit, that's the heavy bucket, and then walk all the way back to have water. And here's the thing, if you're gonna cook without water, sometimes, not sometimes, you would have to boil it first before you can like use it in your cooking. Whereas I can like just turn something. There's pipes here that I can use to like get water. So I don't have to like carry my own water to my private domicile. I, as a very lazy, greedy person, I look at my mother's story and it's like, thank God that I don't have to do any of that. I didn't have to grow up like carrying buckets of water. It might have been good for me probably, but like, if like in present day, like that sort of labor, I don't know about y'all, but I don't want to do that if I don't have to, okay? And if I don't have to, excellent. That's a blessing. It's a blessing, right? Because here's the thing. Here's my notes. I'm looking at my notes here. Okay, so like, you have running water. It's such a basic thing, right? And you get to have it hot and cold. Because now you have a water heater. You have an appliance in your house set up to do all these things. But that didn't like magically get in there. No, like that was someone had to work hard. Not someone, many people, but at least one person had to organize a ton of like laborers to, he took it upon himself, or she, who knows, right? I don't know, there's like city planners that are women. No, probably city, I know a city planner that is a woman, never mind, that's crazy. there's at least one person who took it upon himself to like organize a team of like laborers, and what they had to do, okay, was what they have to do, because they still do it. There's still like new construction going on. Construction workers, they have to dig into the ground, and this is like back in the day, but they had to dig into the ground into this like rocky and like clay terrain that is like in some parts of Arkansas. It's like we're on like the mountainside. You have to like dig into the ground deep enough, get these trenches built. It's sweaty, it's hard, and then you have to install pipes that can carry like drinkable water, right? All across the entire town, the entire city, and then network that, create like a pipe network to like every single building that has running water. Whether it be any place with a bathroom, any place with a kitchen, living place, like, yeah, you need water. You need water. And it's, if you have a bathroom or a kitchen or a like water faucet, like you're just gonna have water, and there has to be work put in. Arduous, annoying, tedious work, digging a hole and putting pipes and then connecting those pipes to the faucet. Are you gonna do any of that? Can you do any of that? No, right? So, and then on top of that, no, not just laying the pipes, but on a day-to-day basis, there is a water treatment facility. There are people who have to work there in order to make sure that the water that goes through those faucets, you can drink out of. That's not poisonous, right? Because you're gonna cook with that. You're gonna drink it maybe. You're gonna shower in it. And you know what's the crazy thing? The same water you use at your sink, by the way, is the same water that goes into your toilet. So you dookie in purified water, treated water, basically every day. Right? The water that comes out of your pipes, the standard is that it's drinkable, that it doesn't poison you every day. Right? That you drink it and it doesn't like kill you. Right? That's the standard. And there's like a facility that does all that work. Countless gallons. I feel like gallons is like an understatement. There's like has to be a better word for that. But countless gallons of water have to be like filtered, decontaminated, treated in a way that it's drinkable coming out, even to your toilet. For the whole city, depending on how big that is for you, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of value generated, because I don't want to go to the well and like carry a bucket. I'm grateful for that. That's something to be grateful for, that there's running water. And yeah, you know, the fact that I'm incapable of creating a water treatment facility on my own domicile, that I can't like go find a source and then pipe it through to my place. It puts into perspective like the sense of, you know, that sense that you're like kind of annoyed to get a bill. That's like, I have to like give away my money for such a basic need. I'm gonna like say it bluntly, but that's entitlement. That's entitlement. That is the being spoiled by your environment that you grew up in. This is a lack of perspective. You are a brat. I'm a brat, right? Recognize that like you are a little bit entitled. All right. If you complain about having to pay your bills, understand that you, in a worldly sense, live in luxury. Not everybody. Like there's people still in this world that have to carry buckets of water from the well. You don't have to do anything. All the value that's generated by that water treatment facility and the people who lay the pipes, like I lay pipes, you know, you are paying for their services. And, you know, I don't know about you, my water bill's not that high. So you know, the ability to like shit in purified water every day like a king. It's you know, that's something to be grateful for. They're providing a service, incredibly valuable at that, right? Incredibly valuable service. The least you could do is say thank you. Thank you to the water treatment facility. And the same goes for like your electricity. I cannot do electricity work. I cannot set up networks for my internet bill, right? Whoever gets gas to my car in the gas station, thank you for doing all that. I'd happily pay like what it takes to fill my tank. Such a cool machine that I have a car with an internal combustion engine. That's neat. Yeah. I don't know. The lifestyle I live, even though it's very like mundane and basic, in a worldly sense, is luxurious. My dad, I live with him now. He says that like compared to how he grew up, I just dropped so much food. God. Compared to how he like grew up and already lived in Mexico for 12 years, he, you know, he considers this place like luxurious. It's an incredibly like huge blessing to like have a place with air conditioning, running water that's clean, internet that's fast, and he can watch like all of his like Facebook videos. It's great. It's awesome. It's a luxurious thing to have, to be indebted to by a big corporation and then use that debt from that corporation to fund your luxurious lifestyle. That's a perspective. When it comes to like not having like enough money, or you know, you want more, right? There are two sides, right, that I would ask you to reflect upon. Okay, how many services are you calling to, okay, that, you know, as a matter of fairness, keep in mind, like even a credit card, right? You're asking someone else to give you money because you don't have enough for whatever it is you're purchasing. More than likely, what you're putting on a credit card, at least for me, maybe you have a different reason, but what you're putting on a credit card is not something you're supposed to be spending. Or, you know, it is something you're supposed to be spending on, but, you know, you lost your money somewhere else on something you weren't supposed to be spending on. But, you know, take an honest hard look at yourself, right? At least for me, I was stupid. I funded like a lifestyle that was a little bit more lavish than I could afford, like going to nice restaurants and traveling and just not paying down the debts. It's dumb. You know, I mean, I'm a human, okay? If I ask for someone for money, not like a person, no, I would never ask a person for money. That's so impolite. But this faceless corporation, if I could ask them for money, and let's say I don't have to pay them back, why would I? Right? Be honest with yourself, would you? If a faceless, nameless, big corporation gave you the opportunity to just borrow money and then you didn't have to pay it back at no consequence, let's say, oh, just your credit score. They didn't like try to there's a word. Garnish your wages, right? If there are no consequences, just like asking for money and then like you don't really have to pay it back, you can just like be quiet, would you do that? I'm gonna say the answer now, but yeah, I would. There are millions of people that would do that. Don't be stupid. The big companies aren't stupid. They have to see this behavior outright. Like, even normal people can understand this. It's a common like experience told that if you like win the lottery or you get upon a large amount of money and people start catching wind of it, right? Random people you like didn't know you knew will like start coming up to you and be like, hey, I'm your this and that, And you know, I've had this situation go on and, oh, can I borrow this amount of money? I promise I'll pay you back, right? And do they pay you back? Maybe some of them do. Would most of them pay you back? Yeah. So credit cards are fair. Credit cards are fair. If you run up a balance and you don't pay it back and now you're paying very shitty amounts of interest, that's a fair thing. That is a service that's being provided to you. Understand that. So, terms of understanding, right, when you don't have enough money, one is understanding the services you call upon, whether that's, is it only just your base necessities, or do you have like subscriptions? Do you use like Uber Eats, DoorDash? Do you go to restaurants so that you don't have to cook your own meals because you don't feel like it? Like, how many services are you calling upon? How many conveniences are you, right, using? So in all fairness, they're not going to do that for free. And so when you tell them to do a service for you, they have to, in exchange, receive something of equal value. That's to come from somewhere. You are literally like pleading to your servants, make me my food and make it to my liking. Cool. Cool, Sirah. Where's my money? That's fair. I don't know. And then a more practical thing, income. Simply, it is a measure of how much value you generate, right, to society, more or less, or for someone else. Because it could be that someone gives you money, but society would give you less for it. You know, there's like an exchange there. Understand that a wage slave job is something you agree to, and remember that the hourly rate is a measure of the average value. You need to like see yourself, see your capabilities, see where you're strongest or weakest. If you're at a job where you feel like you should be paid more, or you could do more for this company, or for like yourself, you feel like your money is not fairly exchanged here, either you're maybe a little bit delusional, or maybe you're at the wrong job, or you're not doing enough work somewhere else, maybe. I don't know. Just take a good hard look at yourself. Ask, am I really someone who can generate work that is more valuable than what I'm currently earning, right? If so, then how do you go about doing that? Either seeking promotion or seeking a more advanced job. If you have the capabilities, demonstrate it somewhere, and then advocate for yourself so that you earn more money. But if not, that's where you know where to start. Gain a skill set, do something, right? Do something that will be able to generate more value in an economy so you make more money. It's simple. Is it easy to learn a skill? Maybe not, but you know, it's like, that's like the path, right? Find ways to serve others so well that it creates a sense. I'm gonna repeat that line. Find ways to serve others so well that it creates a sense of indebtedness in the other party. That's how you make money. And when you accumulate wealth, that is to say, right, this is like the intangible value that you have generated for, you know, this is like a measure of intangible value that you have generated for other people and that you have not like exchanged somewhere else. That's what wealth accumulation is, whether it's like finance, like investments, or just, you know, what's in your checking account. Yeah. I'm about to like head for work. I need to like do my whole yogurt mixture. But yeah, that's a perspective on money. It is a luxury to pay bills because you have all the work that was put into your utilities to go in. And then when you go to a restaurant, you're like beckoning servants to give you your food. You're like asking these people to do work for you. You don't just have to pay bills. You're paying for services that make your life so much better. understand that it could be a lot worse. Okay? Practice gratitude. Pay your bills with a fucking smile, right?
I was gonna record a little while ago, but like my transmission totally slipped. I don't know what happened. A little scared now. I forgot what I was about to say. But so I feel saying this is a little bit harsh probably to some people, you know, in some situations, right? You know, there are people who are genuinely struggling. You know, I get it. My family was really, really poor once. It's a thing. Okay, like there's a lot to it. There's a lot you feel, and I'm not trying to invalidate any of that, right? But on the simple like notion, again, I want to ask you kindly to like try to like not take away, but just like put the emotions aside for just a moment and just look at money as like markets and just, you know, forces in the world. Okay, ask yourself this question if you ever feel like you just don't have enough like money in your bank account for whatever reason, and you know you can't do the things that you want to do. Understand and try to understand where you're at. Ask yourself, what value am I able to generate for society? Not just your company. Company's part of society, of course, but what value am I able to generate for society as a whole? What can I do that's worth spending money on, right? Your company spends money on you, paying you for their labor, but is that all you're capable of? Be honest with yourself. If that's all you're capable of is doing a job that's assigned to you, and you're not able to like create things or do some sort of specialized work, either you stop complaining about the job you have, or you use that frustration, because you probably have that, to fuel a new pursuit. Be grateful for the job you have now, because that's how you make your living. That's how you're like able to survive in the society, right? That's how you're able to survive. It's an easy way with all your running water. It's like living is easy. Thriving is a different pursuit. You can survive plenty. Don't worry about surviving. Your preoccupation should be on thriving. Okay? I love you. Don't ever forget that, even though I don't care about you. All right, those two things, they exist at the same time. I'm not sure if they're a contradiction, but that's how I see them.